Good morning, Playmakers, and welcome to the first ever March Madness special. Today we will break down all four quadrants of the Sweet 16 and give you our thoughts and predictions on each game. But before we start, we have a new member joining us today. Nnamdi Onyenike is filling in for Maya, who cannot be here today. But you might not want to listen to his March Madness advice because he is currently in last place in the J-School March Madness Challenge, where almost all of our cast and crew has a bracket. So let's take a look at the current standings and who everyone has picked for their national champions. So Sydney and Emily, some of our behind-the-scenes crew, is in fourth place, which is highest in the Good Morning Playmakers. Barry, our prompter runners, in seventh. Jackson, me, and Gabe are tied for 16th. Lily in 21st, Claire in 24th, and as I mentioned, Nnamdi is rounding out the standings in 25th. But Gonzaga's still in it, so he's still got a chance.
I'm high on Gonzaga, guys. I'm telling you.
But the men's bracket is not the only place where madness is happening. There are plenty of events happening in the women's bracket as well. So, guys, what has been your favorite moment in the women's bracket so far?
I'll start. I think one of my favorite moments was, I just browsed through scores, just kind of see what's going on. I was on vacation, so I was not near television. I just happened to see at halftime, South Carolina was beating Howard 44-4 at half. So that's pretty amazing that they held them to 4 points while also putting up 44 at halftime. And clearly South Carolina ended up winning that game, but I think that was my favorite moment so far.
Yeah, I think that team's impossible to beat.
Yeah, they're red hot.
You're going to have a tough time facing South Carolina. I know Maya Peterson would 100% agree with me on that. Big on them. I'm going to have to say one of the best games I watched both tournaments was Creighton, Iowa, and Lauren Jensen hitting that insane three at the end in front of her previous home crowd. She used to play at Iowa, and now she's at Creighton. That whole Creighton team, top to bottom, phenomenal. Caitlin Clark, she just couldn't get it done. And I just want to give props to Lauren Jensen. She put that game away. She scored 19 points. She had almost all of their fourth quarter points in general. She put that team on her back. So I'm going to have to go with that. That was a really fun game to watch. Came down to the wire. So if you didn't watch that game, you missed out.
My favorite moment of the tournament from the women's side is, I don't want to say I told you so, but you said bring one sleeper team to the table a couple shows ago, and I told you Florida Gulf Coast, and they were the 12-5 upset over Virginia Tech. I don't want to talk about the next round, but hey, Dunk City, man. I think that was my favorite game. It was so high scoring, 84-81 ended up being the final of that game. It was so back and forth the entire way. That's probably my favorite game, other than Iowa Creighton, which Nnamdi took. But that was also a fantastic game, so it's a good pick.
Yeah, my favorite moment has definitely been the South Dakota run. This team excitement and their love for the game and just the celebrations that they have is just amazing to see, knocking off all these higher seeds. I can't wait to see how far they end up going. But March is full of madness, as we've already gone over. But when we come back, we finally start the March Madness special.
Welcome back, everybody. I am here with Nnamdi Onyenike. We're going to break down the West and the East region of the Sweet 16. Nnamdi, this is a pretty tough assignment, obviously.
Yeah.
All top four seeds made it from the West region. We're starting with Gonzaga and Arkansas. A little bit about Gonzaga. They beat Georgia State 92-73 in convincing fashion in round one and squeaked by Memphis 82-78 in round two. This is the 7th straight Sweet 16 for the Zags, and they are the number one team remaining in KenPom. What do you got here?
Well, I'm going to have to first disagree with you. I think that first game they played in the round of 64, score is something else. It tells a different story. Gonzaga did look a little shaky for a little bit. And then, like you said, they squeaked by Memphis. There were some questionable calls towards the end, but I really am high on this Gonzaga team. I have them winning in a lot of brackets, and they're going to be my pick. It's just hard to go against Chet and Drew Timme. I mean, Chet's ability to just erase shots has been so crucial for this team. And I think they really do play a fast-paced brand of basketball, as do the Arkansas. I think both teams, if they're going to run, it's going to be a high-scoring game. It really is.
I think let's not discredit Arkansas here. I think J.D. Note has the matchup advantage. I think he's a better point guard than Andrew Nembhard, and if you swap those two, I think Gonzaga is even more dangerous of a team. Obviously, if J.D. Note is on Gonzaga, there's problems. And you can also make the argument that Stanley Umude is better than Rasir Bolton. I wouldn't make that argument, but you totally could. So in the guard play, Arkansas is right there with Gonzaga.
They're right there, but you're also playing against National Player of the Year candidate Drew Timme.
Exactly.
And you're playing against potential #1 overall pick Chet Holmgren. So I think it's going to be a very good game, very high scoring, but I just don't think you can go against the Zags.
Yeah, I am going to go with Gonzaga. It's too hard to pick. It's too hard to pick against Chet and Drew Timme, especially with Arkansas being beat on the boards all year this year. You saw what Jabari Smith did to them. They were able to beat Auburn once, but still, it's hard to guard Chet and Drew Timme. I don't think Arkansas has an answer. You taking Gonzaga, I'm guessing?
I'm taking Gonzaga too, but that's not discrediting Coach Musselman for Arkansas. He's a student of the game. He really is. So.
And this game, I think, is going to have the most eyes on it because it's got potential to be Coach K's last game, and it will be Coach K's last game. Give me Texas Tech. I don't want to say I told you so about the Red Raiders, but I kind of told you so about the Red Raiders. They play a fantastic brand of basketball. They play great defense. They hustle to every 50-50 ball. The reason they beat Oklahoma in that game in the Big 12 tournament a couple weeks ago is they hustled to every ball and they played fantastic defense. And that's how they're going to beat teams, and that's how they're going to beat teams like Duke.
They're hot. They are really hot right now. I really like Texas Tech. I like their scoring and O'Banner. Anyone can really put it on. O'Banner, Shannon, Arms, Nadolny, the whole team. It's a very deep team, one of the deeper teams in the Big 12. And like you said, they're hustlers. They're guys who are going to get on the ground for the loose balls. And also they have a very stifling defense. They really do not let you drive baseline. If you're going baseline, there's help coming. They get steals. They're going after it. They really are. So I think Duke, they're phenomenal, but I don't know. I'm not anticipating guys like Paolo and Mark Williams to have the same type of game because they're not going to be able to dominate inside like they like to. They're not going to be able to bruise it. Now, Paolo does have that outside shot. I really like his outside shot. He has a really good three-pointer. But Mark Williams, I don't know about that. It's going to come down some guard play maybe, who's going to step up. But I'm going to go with the Red Raiders, man. Isn't Duke the underdog?
Duke is technically the underdog. Texas Tech's a 1-point favorite, but it'll probably get moved to a pick-em. But at any rate, Texas Tech plays way too good a defense to Duke for Duke to score more than 70 points. I don't see Duke scoring more than 70, obviously, barring overtimes and whatnot. But Duke does have the matchup advantage in the backcourt, but in the front court is where I really like Texas Tech, where you can put a guy like Bryson Williams who does everything on the defensive end, and you can put him against Paolo Banchero, and I love that matchup for Texas Tech. And if you're able to slow down Paolo Banchero, Duke does not look like a very good basketball team when you do. So I'm taking Texas Tech. Any last thoughts on the West region before we move on?
Nope, this looks pretty good.
To the East, we got UNC and UCLA. Two Blue Bloods going at it. UNC upset Baylor in the second round, but took care of Akron in the first round. This team has been there, and they've done that. They've been to the Final Four. They went from first four to Final Four last year. It's an experienced group. It's a good group. They've had streaky moments this year, but then again, what team other than Gonzaga really hasn't?
Right.
This game will be dominated by UCLA in the backcourt. UCLA has far superior guards to North Carolina. In the front court is where it gets a little shaky. But, UNC does have, like I said, front court, Leaky Black, Armando Bacot, two very good front court players for UNC. I'm going to go with UCLA, but it will be close. I think they're going to win by about 4 points probably, a couple baskets.
I'm agreeing with you here, Jackson. I'm also going to go with UCLA, and I really do think this game comes down to depth on both teams. So if you were watching that Baylor and UNC game, which I think most of the world was, everyone saw Brady Manek get ejected, and UNC crumbled. I was getting made fun of. People were accusing me of being a Baylor fan because I was just saying how horrible this UNC bench is. The team is just awful once you get outside those guys, and Caleb Love also got into foul trouble. He ended up fouling out towards the end. And Armando Bacot, he was not hitting his free throws. They were crumbling under pressure. Those bench guys who sit on the team just for some cool UNC fives,
Exactly.
They actually have to play. And, who's on that team? It's a bunch of disappointments is what it looks like. And UCLA, they're very deep. I like Peyton Watson. I like Tiger Campbell. I like their team. They're very star power. They have a lot of star power on their team. So I'm going to have to go with UNC.
UCLA. You're going with UCLA.
UCLA. That's what I mean. Yeah.
You just said that their bench players are sitting for some Jordan 5s.
No. I'm not going with UNC.
I know what
trust
you meant.
me.
No.
And I like Coach Hubert Davis. He's going to do a lot of good things for this program, but he really needs to get his bench in order because there are guys who maybe shouldn't have been out there against them, against Baylor.
I agree.
We're going to go with UCLA for that one.
All right. Last game of our 2 brackets here. Purdue St. Peter's. I don't let I love my moments with the camera. No one's taking St. Peter's. You can't be serious. They're a 13-point underdog in a Sweet 16 game. Purdue will win this game probably by 25. I'm just saying. There is no answer for Zach Edey. There is no answer for Travion Williams. Who's going to guard Jaden Ivey?
You're going to have to change my name to no one because I have St. Peter's rolling. I really do. I really do have them.
You did pick St. Peter's.
A reporter asked Coach Shaheen Holloway, how they were going to adjust to the physicality of teams. And he said, I have the quote right here. He says, I've got guys from New Jersey and New York City. You think we're scared of anything? We do that. Hey. They're the aggressors. They're the bruisers.
They're from New Jersey, but they don't have anybody over 7 foot or 7'3".
That doesn't matter. I know Austin.
Sure it does. You can't coach height.
That is true. You cannot coach height. But if they're able,
you know a lot about that from your high school days.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. But I'm telling you, if they were able to, and I'm not saying they handled Oscar Tshiebwe in their game against Kentucky because he had a phenomenal game.
He still had 30 points.
Their guard play was horrible that game. But I really do like St. Peter's. I think they're going to bruise. They're going to challenge Purdue. I think Purdue, their only advantage really in this game is that they have a week to prepare for this team. They're not going to let them have anything. And we're just going to have to see if the magic, is going to fizzle out for St. Peter's. I really like them in the Elite Eight. I had to go with the Peacocks, man. I really did.
Get real. Let us know you have in our brackets on Good Morning Playmakers on Instagram. We will be right back for Caleb and Lily to break down the other half of the bracket. Stay with us.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back, guys. Lily and I are here to break down the South and the Midwest brackets, but you cannot go on without mentioning the disrespectful seeding of Houston and Michigan. I think Houston is playing so much better than a 5 seed.
Yeah.
They're 11-1 in their last 12. They've won 10 of those games by double digits. And since January 1st, they're top 10 in offensive and defensive efficiency. In this tournament, they're averaging 75 points per game, only allowing 60 points per game.
And I agree with you. I don't think they deserved a higher seeding, but they're playing better than the seedings that they were given. Michigan barely made the tournament to begin with, and they validated their inclusion in the tournament by beating Colorado State and heavily favored Final Four contender Tennessee. So honestly, I think they've played up to the expectations, but they did not deserve a higher seeding.
Yeah,
I like
100%.
where they are now.
For Michigan, Hunter Dickinson is playing like a superstar. But onto our picks, Arizona, Houston. This was hard for me.
This was my hardest one. Yeah.
My toughest game to choose. Houston held Kofi Cockburn to 19 points and only 8 rebounds. That guy averages a double-double. Arizona needed every single one of Coloco's 28, Matherin's 30, which accounted for 70% of their total points. Arizona has played sloppy all tournament. Houston's probably playing the best they've played all year in the tournament.
Yeah.
Houston's defense is different. They have top-notch offense. Arizona probably has the better talent, but Houston is going to take this game.
And I'm going to have to agree with you here. It was hard for me to choose this one, too, because I was watching a lot of film yesterday, and I was like, you know what? Houston doesn't really get the competitiveness that they get in the AAC. It's not a heavily competitive conference, and they came out here to the tournament, and they've played up to everything they have had it hyped up before. They were ranked all season, and they weren't very high, but they were ranked. And I think that Arizona barely won against TCU in overtime because TCU made too many mistakes in overtime. That is the sole reason why they won. TCU was the better team. They were more competitive. Arizona just looked horrible. And I think that Houston is so effective on smashing teams against the boards because they're playing such an efficient and effective style on offense, and they're suffocating teams on the defense. And I don't think Arizona stands a chance against that. I'm going to have Houston here.
Even in the first round, Arizona didn't look good against the 16th seed.
Yeah.
So Arizona's got that top-end talent, but
Yeah.
I think Houston's legit. So Villanova, Michigan. Another tough one for me, but Villanova is one of my favorite teams in the tournament. They're currently on a 7-game win streak. They are the best free throw shooting team in the nation, shooting 82% from the line. Delaware and Ohio State, both top 5 in three-point efficiency in their own conference. They shot, 24% from three. Villanova held them. And they're shooting 36% on their own contested threes. Since 2018, this is their best year shooting three. And we all remember what happened in 2018 when they won the national championship.
Yeah.
Colin Gillespie is averaging 17 and 4. He's going to come up big in this game. Michigan's run has been impressive, but Juwan Howard is going to need his own hug after this game. I'm taking Villanova.
I'm going to take Villanova too. As you mentioned, Colin Gillespie, I think he's amazing, and he has junior Justin Moore, who are two great assets to the team, and I think they can get the job done against Michigan. I mean, you said in 2018 you saw that national championship team, and I think, we could possibly see that again. I think that they could go far, and I do think they will end up beating Houston in the long run. But, I think this is a wide open South region, and I think they can make it all the way to the national championship.
This is one of the toughest quadrants in the tournament for sure. Now headed over to the Midwest, where KU on paper has the easiest route to the Final Four.
See, this is where I might have to disagree with you. We've seen the inconsistency of Kansas all season, and that worries me because KU does not play well against those very physical teams, and Providence is a very physical team. We don't do well against that, and I think that is going to create problems for us in this game. But I do think KU will win here, just barely. They might squeeze by.
Yeah, I'm also taking KU here. It's tough, though, because Providence was picked by a lot of people, including me, to lose in the first round against South Dakota State. But they've just played well. They've shot 54% from three against Richmond, and Creighton, who is a bottom team in three-point, went off against KU. So I don't know if they're just not defending the three well, what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
But I am banking on KU's top-end talent to come out.
And I do think that Providence is not the most talented team, but because of the way Ed Cooley has been coaching this team and giving them that mentality has taken them this far, and that's why we see them out here right now. I think that this is going to make a brutal matchup for the Jayhawks here, and I think that this could be an interesting
Ochai
one.
struggle last game. I don't see that happening again.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little bit, but
and a consistent Remy Martin.
Yeah, he's been playing crazy. Iowa State, Miami. Nobody predicted this.
Nope.
I mean, Iowa State at the beginning of the year was predicted to finish last in the Big 12.
They finished 2-22 last season.
They won 2 games last year.
Got a new coach and turned things around, but they didn't look great in the Big 12 all season. They had some games where they looked great, but they weren't very, as much as I'd like to see them perform, I didn't expect them to be this far.
No, but Iowa State, something that stands out is how much they force turnovers. They force turnovers on 25% of all possessions. Wisconsin came into the last game with the best turnover rate in the nation, and Iowa State forced 17 turnovers.
Yeah.
Iowa State's defense is legit, and their offense is balanced. They don't have somebody over 20 points per game, but their leading scorer is Isaiah Brockington, averaging 17. But in the first round, Tyrese Hunter put up 23. Gabe Kalscheur, weird name, put up 22 points last week. So I haven't liked Auburn all year, so I didn't expect them to get that far. But I don't know. I really like Iowa State in this game.
See, I'm going to have to disagree with you here. I think I'm going to take Miami on this one. They lost 10 games prior to the tournament. They did not have a great season. And they've redeemed themselves in the tournament with the biggest surprises knocking off number 7 seed USC, number 2 seed Auburn in consecutive games. And they've been coming together at the right time in the games. I think that their leading star, Isaiah Wong, and with the veteran experience and production provided by Charlie Moore and Cam McGusty, I think this will keep them dancing and beat Iowa State here.
This is going to be a tough. This is tough.
Yeah.
So, if we don't remember, KU only beat Iowa State by 1 in one game this year.
That
but
is true.
Even though we may feel confident in our picks, everyone knows anything can happen in March Madness. But that is all the time we have for today. Check out our Instagram at GoodMorningPlaymakers for more bonus content, and come back next week for more on March Madness. But without further ado, from our cast to you, have a great week.